all of you. So I'm going to try to step away from my testimony and really answer that question. Why do I care enough to come down here? So I'm a prosecutor, and I want to stay in my lane. I don't practice family law. I'm not a domestic relations attorney. But I do prosecute domestic violence cases. I am the first assistant director of law in Mount Vernon in Knox County and the founder of our domestic violence prosecution unit, which I formed in 2019. And I think that there is an underlying thought among the proponents of legislation such as House Bill 508 that says that domestic violence is often something that is used in custody cases to gain an advantage for the person who is suggesting that that abuse took place. And they use it for parental alienation. And I talk about in my testimony where I kind of first came in contact with that. I had a 6-year-old victim that had been punched in the face by her father. The defense attorney told me again and again that this was parental alienation. I told the judge in my criminal case that this was parental alienation, wanted to bring in evidence from the custody case to the criminal case. And parental alienation, by the way, was winning the day in that custody case. We took that case to trial, and we got a conviction beyond a reasonable doubt, and that did change the course of that custody case. But that's been a pattern that I've observed. And again, I'm an outside observer. I don't, as I said, practice domestic relations, but I've had a number of cases where I have dealt with victims of domestic violence, and what I'm seeing in the criminal case is not being accurately reflected in the domestic relations case as it's being presented to me. That's with the system as we have now. That's with starting at a position of neutral for who should have custody of those children. Those situations exist even then. And so my concern is what House Bill 508 is going to do is with that rebuttable presumption, with moving the starting point back for those children, that those most vulnerable are going to be placed in an even more precarious situation. My own experience is that false allegations of domestic violence is exceedingly rare, almost non-existent. And those who maybe do report something for a custody-motivated reason, even if I can't criminally prosecute that because my standard is beyond a reasonable doubt, there's still inappropriate parental behavior that has occurred there and is properly considered by domestic relations or juvenile court. So it's not that it shouldn't be considered by anyone, it's just that I'm not the appropriate person to consider that because my standard of proof is so high. So I don't want to take any more of your time, but I just want to suggest that when we're dealing with such a small minority of cases, most cases in Ohio are settled outside of court. Those 10% or so that go and have to have court intervention are the very ones where it's most likely that there are dysfunctional family dynamics, including family violence. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.